Let's pretend that I gave you the obligatory intro of a video that came out on Halloween. Spooky this, scary that, but no, I'm not cosplaying, I'm not gonna party, I'm just gonna be home, working on the next video, playing Scorn and drowning into my own thoughts, because that's what normal people do. Well, that's hardly what anyone does, never mind normal people. What does that have to do with House of the Dragon? Absolutely nothing. But now that I think of it, I'll be wearing you as a costume for Halloween at home. Well, you got things mixed up, you see. Actually, it's the other way around. I'm the real person and you're the alter ego. While that's true, I'm the manifestation of your subconsciousness. I am what you constantly try to deny. I am what you truly are. Your face is the mask you use to hide me, the real you. Again, what does this have to do with House of the Dragon? Fine, let's talk about my biggest surprise of the year. Now, this is your constant reminder that Game of Thrones didn't actually end on the highest of notes. Now, if you're standing up, I'll suggest you sit down for what I'm about to say. I know the last season was rushed, but I liked how the story ended. My only problem was the execution. Okay, I agree. Connecting the dots was really poorly done. Hold your tits now, don't get angry. What I meant to say was, I think you should move on or make this video about the last season because these people are gonna get pissed. Actually, for once in my life, I'm gonna follow your advice. Well, people, you're here for House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon is what you'll get. Now, I reserve judgment on House of the Dragon because my expectations were at the same height as Tyrion Lannister, and that kinda came in favor of the show. But more on that later. Honestly, I saw the first episode a few days after it came out until I saw the reaction to it, because I wasn't planning on watching it in the first place. But what a pleasant surprise it was. House of the Dragon is an excellent medieval fantasy political thriller. A slow burner, perhaps too slow at times, but it pays off what it took the time to set up, along with complex and well-written characters. Basically, it was everything the Rings of Power failed to be. That's like having a nice fish for dinner, but it has a few thorns in it. It doesn't really ruin the experience, but you can't really ignore it. Now, before I turn into the asshole that I am, let's talk about the positives first. And God knows there's a lot. Now, the main premise of the show is similar to the aspect that made me fall in love with Game of Thrones. The political schemes in the hallways of the palace, the constant suspense of who's siding with who, where each person's loyalties lie, and who's gonna be the next backstabber. It's just beautifully done, unpredictable, and will keep you on the edge of your seat. The world of Westeros is still hard, unforgiving, and wild, where anything can happen at any given moment. If I had to sum up the story without spoilers, I would say it's a conflict of succession that involves people struggling to find a balance between their duties and personal gains and emotions. It's like a game of chess where the pieces have different strengths and weaknesses, and can easily switch sides like Italy in a world war. It features characters that are complex, multi-layered, believable, competent but flawed, played by actors whose performances that range from solid to breathtaking. Don't you think this is a very surface level review? Do you want me to ruin the show for other people? Does your stupidity have no limit? Or you might be a pseudo movie reviewer who gives surface level reviews. What did you just say? I am a pseudo intellectual, so that makes me a pseudo everything. But don't you dare accuse me of ignorance. I will have your head for this. You know what? Fine, I'll spill the beans. But don't worry, people. I'll give you a heads up when I go deep into details. King Viserys has failed to produce a male heir. His brother Daemon thinks he's next in line for the throne. But King Viserys decides that his only daughter, Rhaenyra, will be the heir to the Iron Throne. Let's just say that doesn't bode well with Daemon and the other lords, because there has never been a queen of Westeros. But one of those unsatisfied lords happens to be Middlefinger. Otto Hightower is the hand of the king. Now, he's a mixture of Tywin Lannister and Littlefinger, who also happens to be the father of Alicent, a key player in the events to come. Now, one other lord who isn't really satisfied with this is Corlys Velaryon. Now, Velaryon is a house of dragon riders who survived the doom of Valyria just like the Targaryens. And let's just say that things begin to escalate quickly and take surprising turn of events. Like I said, the show takes place over a long period of time and makes huge time jumps between episodes. Now, one episode could be taking place 5 years after the events of the previous one, which is something that I never imagined could work until we saw it happen. However, it comes with a price, but we'll discuss it shortly. Now, despite the time jumps, you can easily keep track of what's happening, and the story almost never feels disjointed. And to be honest, this is quite the achievement that shouldn't be overlooked. But like I said, it comes at the price of the characters. Now here's where some people might disagree with me. Because of the time jumps, it became a bit difficult to connect with most of the characters. Because in one episode, you see them having an inner struggle with an issue, but in the next episode, they have a new one to struggle with. And because so much time has passed, it feels like they're an entirely different person. For example, without spoiling anything, one character starts out as a cold-blooded, unpredictable son of a bitch, only to become a compassionate family man. Now, he's still violent, but he's way different than when he was. Speaking of men and women, each gender is balanced, each to their own strengths and weaknesses. The men are strong, violent, but sometimes they can be too rash. As for the women, well, the show has women, not women. Except for one that started out as a pragmatist only to devolve into a girl boss. But like I said, they all suffered from the time jumps. But the time jumps specifically affected Alicent and Rhaenyra. Even at some point, they're played by different actresses. Like, that's how big the time jumps are. And they went from naive girls into mature, cunning, and intelligent women. Yes, they're developing, but they're developing too rapidly. And that sort of made me uninterested in them as people. Yeah, I'm interested in the events, but I'm not really emotionally connected to any one of them. So I'm kind of connected to the events out of morbid curiosity. But for how long can morbid curiosity keep me hooked? Oh, you'll be interested. You love watching people suffer, you twisted fuck. Watch your tone, boy. Are you trying to copy Kratos? I'm a great actor, aren't I? No. Yeah. You don't have to say it out loud. Speaking of great actors, god damn it, this show isn't short on solid actors. Unlike some other show I don't want to name. But the highlight for me was the brothers, Viserys and Daemon. Now, people praised Matt Smith for his stunning acting, and rightfully so. God damn it, his eyes act better than the cast of that unnamed show combined. But holy fuck, Paddy Constantine absolutely killed it. Now, I was skeptical when they announced that he's gonna be King Viserys, because I only knew him from Hot Fuzz, and in that movie he was goofy as fuck. But holy shit, did he steal the show. Otto Hightower is played by, however they pronounce his name. That guy was magnificent. Now, when Alicent and Rhaenyra were young, I preferred Rhaenyra, but when they grew up, for me, Alicent was an upgrade while Rhaenyra was a downgrade. Now, my favorite character has to be King Viserys, but in my opinion, the best written character has to be Alicent. She evolves from a fearful young woman to a powerful queen. She struggles with her religious beliefs and some of the horrible actions she has to do to protect her children, which raises a good question. Does that make her a hypocrite, or is she doing what she must to survive? But now I'm gonna head into spoiler territory, so skip to this time code. Okay, let me get that off my chest really quickly. That walk to the throne was one of the best scenes I've witnessed in years. King Viserys, I salute you, sir. Now, for the one character that evolved, but backwards, Rhaenys was a pragmatist in the beginning, but in the last 2 episodes, she killed probably, and I don't want to exaggerate, but probably she killed thousands of people. Plus, she could have ended the war before it even began.
But that war is not mine to begin.
Well, it's your war now, you dumb bitch. Do you think the Greens are gonna give you a pass? Also, Rhaenyra made a stupid-ass choice. I don't know if they're gonna say that this was a mistake on her behalf, but sending princes as messengers is an ignorant move. But if they're gonna address it in the next season, like that's a whole different thing. Also, one more thing. How did Kristen Cole get away with his crimes? I mean, he killed a prince guard, punched Laenor in the face, and he killed one of the lords in the dumbest way possible.
I'll have no part. Down!
You don't sit people down head first, you stupid plot-armored son of a bitch. Now that we're out of the spoiler territory, let's address some of the negatives. Like I said, the time jumps came at the price of the characters. Also, how many birth scenes does one show need? For the love of God, we get it. These poor women have to give birth because these men want children. I'm not saying that the whole show is full of like feminism, but god damn it, did they lean into it a few times. Plus, there's too many kids. I mean, if I was Jeffrey Epstein, I'd be happy, but as a normal human being, kids are mildly infuriating to me. And this is kind of like a personal pet peeve for me. Unless you're a horny teenager whose hormones are going up and down like a monkey, do people still like look for like sex scenes in these things? Just imply it, man. You don't have to show us the whole thing, and specifically when they're from the same family. Now, and these are the things that I didn't like. They didn't ruin the experience for me. But if these flaws are not fixed, and if somehow they manage to amplify these things, I can see this show going off the rails easy. In conclusion, House of the Dragon is a solid fantasy show with minor issues that benefited from the low expectations, because when the expectations are low, the only way is up. And because it was compared to that show that shouldn't be named, many people flocked to it as a fuck you to Amazon. Just goes to prove that chaos is a ladder. The calamities of a person could be the opportunity to another. And House of the Dragon capitalized the shit out of that opportunity. But after all this, what do I know? I'm just a schizophrenic taking a shit who occasionally snaps. Peace.